I'm Ashley.
I'm Lauren, and this is
Whispers in the Basement. That went on forever.
Yeah, that really did. That was so dramatic.
It was. I was trying to be dramatic.
It's like you were trying to do a organ with your voice. You know, the dun 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 dun.
Oh, Whispers in the Basement. People are probably like, you're dumb. We are. It's fine though.
It happens.
We make each other laugh, and that's all that matters.
Facts. Today's episode is fueled by
Monster again.
Yeah. You know, if they had the Witch's Brew Alani New, then I feel like, or year round, I feel like every episode would be sponsored by that.
So,
not really sponsored, but fueled.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, you can still order it on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Lord knows how long it's been sitting in somebody's back porch. Like, maybe it's from last year's batch. Who the hell knows? But did you also see the Red Bull holiday flavor? It's cinnamon pear.
That sounds terrible to me in an energy drink form.
I tried it.
Was it fuzzy or like bubbly or flat?
It was bubbly, but it wasn't that great.
So
if I'm gonna drink Red Bull, I want watermelon. That's my favorite Red Bull.
I don't know if I like any Red Bulls, honestly.
The watermelon one, give it a shot.
Okay.
It's the shiznit.com.
I think that I liked the apple fig one that they did last year. I don't know if they did that this year.
I've not seen an apple fig. I would try that one.
It's in a blue can. It was pretty good.
Actually, I feel like I did a monster, or not a monster, Red Bull pineapple one, and that one wasn't bad either.
Okay.
But the watermelon is my jam. It's definitely bubbly. A summer. Mm-hmm. It's a summer one.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do like watermelon flavored things.
Yeah, it's better than the monster watermelon, in my opinion.
I don't know if I've ever had the
my
monster
opinion's shit
watermelon.
Though. So
your opinion is not shit.
It kind of is sometimes, but you know it's fine.
I guess it
I don't
depends
care.
on what I want your opinion to be.
I don't give a shit.
So I have a question for you today as we're going into the 2024 year. Would you rather die by a submarine implosion underwater or by drinking one of the Panera death teas?
Okay, so first off, you know how death-defyingly terrified of like deep waters I am. There's no way you could even get me on a submarine. I'd have to have like somebody would have had to have gave me a tranquilizer,
right?
And I'd have to be dragged on there. So definitely not the submarine thing. I don't know what the Panera tea is, but I would probably do that.
So there are these Panera energy teas that people are drinking mass amounts of, and people are having heart attacks and dying from them.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I think that Panera's pulled them.
Oh, I have not seen this at all. So it would be the Panera drink for me. That's what I would do.
By a heart attack.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you know the submarine, it was a pretty instant death.
No, man. I don't like deep dark water. It creeps me out. Anything associated with it. No. Like the other day when Peyton was talking about her cruise and she was talking about that little bitty hole that was like so many floors. Fuck no. Yeah. No. You could not pay me enough money.
I've gotten on the, is it the North Sea TikTok where it's like super rough waters?
Oh, yeah.
And those big boats. So whenever we were in Salem, we took a, what is that called? It's like a boat like a water taxi, but
a ferry.
Yes,
yep. Ferry.
That word was not coming to my head. We took a ferry from I think Boston to Salem, and it was really rough water. And it was, you know, whenever you're going like down a hill and your stomach drops out, it was like that every 3 seconds. And my mom is terrified of open water, like you are. And so I feel you. And this was my idea to do this, just because I was like, oh, let's just do it. We don't really get the opportunity to take ferries very often.
Right. It's about the experience. And Della was like, fuck this experience.
Yeah, she was all for it until, you know, we got on and they were like, oh, it's going to be a bumpy ride, you guys. And it was just boom, boom, up and down. And my mom was just like, I hate you for this.
I would have also gotten sick.
There were a couple times where I was just not feeling the
I would have
best.
gotten super nauseous and probably upchucked everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not my jam.
We were just nervously laughing the whole time.
Not my jam. I think I've talked about this before, but there's like some swimming pool in Dubai that's like in the middle, just watching people, or like little bitty boats. And then they like, you underneath them, you can see this giant ass whale. It makes my butthole pucker. Like, that's how fearful I am inside. Like,
right.
No way.
So you would not do cave diving or anything like that either.
I'm also claustrophobic, so no. I'm so claustrophobic. You're going to laugh at this. I'm so claustrophobic that if somebody puts a pillow, like, I remember me and Josh used to wrestle, and his first instinct was, I'm going to put a pillow over this chick's head. And he would do that, and I instantly am, like, freaking out, thinking I'm going to die because I don't have open air.
So note to self, if anybody wants to kill Ashley, that's a good way to debilitate her.
Yeah. I will freeze up and be like, yeah. Yeah. Nope. I don't like caves either.
Right. No, caves kind of freak me out too.
I was actually listening to a podcast that talked about I think it's called the Nutty Putty Cave.
I've never heard of that.
This guy died in there, and just the whole situation around it gave me such anxiety.
Was it the guy that was like upside down, stuck in it?
They still, to this day, have not gotten him out. That's what I mean.
That's awful.
That's what I mean. And there was that one movie, what was it called? Where the girls went into the cave.
Oh, The Descent.
Yeah.
Iconic. It's a good movie.
I'm sure there are crazy ass people that live underneath the Earth's crust like that. I don't want to meet them.
Translucent skin and
nope,
soggy
I'm good
skin.
Right here in the open sunlight doing my thing. I don't need to go down there.
Getting that fresh air on my face.
Open air. Open air. Yeah, no way. No way, Jose.
That stale cave air.
Nope. Also afraid of heights, so I'm really a good time.
Yeah.
I just like to keep firmly planted on the ground.
Living your best life, exploring all of the adventures.
It makes me think of that SpongeBob episode where Patrick's trying to get... he's trying to have Squidward hold something, and he says, firmly grasp it in your hand. And Squidward doesn't take it, and he gets really mad, and he says, firmly grasp it in your hand. And you're like,
shoves it right through his tentacle.
I like to be firmly planted on the ground. That's what it makes me think of. Yeah. So, that's me.
I don't blame you.
I guess I do have a question. It's before the new year, but do you have a New Year's resolution?
Oh, snap, I do. Well, not really a resolution, but a mantra. I sent it to you the other
you
day.
did send it to me.
And did I? Oh, okay. So I actually stole this from it was a question on, I think, Ask Reddit, and it was somebody saying, what's some of the best advice that your therapist has ever given to you that has just kind of like knocked the wind out of you, been like a light bulb moment. And somebody said that their therapist said, claim the right to your space in this world. My self-esteem and self-worth was non-existent. I didn't believe I deserved the oxygen that I was breathing. He was saying that being a person, being born, gives you the right to exist. You don't have to earn it. You're here. Claim your space. Which is so true. And I feel like we always find ourselves feeling like that. Where you see somebody that's doing something. I feel like even with this podcast, you see other podcasts that are way bigger. And you're like, okay, yeah, but there's already enough podcasts that are doing the same thing-ish that we're doing. Why, like, who needs another podcast yet? We're doing it, and we're our own selves, and we're individuals. It's not like we're copying anybody else, so we deserve to take this space up.
You minimize yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You tear your dreams down, and you tear yourself down before you've even started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you?
That's a really good mantra. Mine is not, I don't have a mantra. I just have a resolution of I would like to be more hydrated. And moisturized. So
moisturized is a big fact.
Yeah, I'm really gonna try to make a solid effort in wearing lotion every single day. Because I'm getting old. And I don't want crepey skin.
Is that what prevents it?
I don't know.
I just assumed it was like age.
Probably. But stay hydrated and moisturized.
Absolutely.
my friends.
Maybe drink some collagen every day.
Yeah, that's my goal.
So Seth went and got these greens from GNC. They're the ghost greens, but they're flavored. And he took them yesterday, and I was like, oh, that reminds me. I have greens that I bought from Kimber, and then the 50 Shades of Green greens that I still have. So I've tried to take them the last 2 mornings, and I'm like chugging them. This morning I got maybe 3/4 of the way, and I had that that visceral gag reflex, and I was like, I can do it. It's just a little bit of pond water, just a little bit more. So I just plugged my nose and chugged it.
It's really what it is pond water.
But I'm just thinking of stoking my cells.
My cells are so stoked. Yeah, I remember when we first bought that, and I messaged you. I was like, my cells don't feel stoked at all right now.
No, or that mud water.
Okay, so the mud water,
mud water. I just wished I love it.
It got to a point where I drank it enough that I was like, this isn't bad.
Right, but is it just because you have desensitized yourself to it?
I mean, I think that it happens with your taste buds because if you drink, it's like going from coffee with creamer just to black coffee.
Yeah.
It's a really hard change at first because it's different.
Yeah.
It's not as sweet. And I think that's why I struggled. But it started out damn it, I've spent money on this. I'm fucking getting my money's worth out of it. And so I started drinking it. And then by the end of it, I was like, it's not half bad.
Right.
You just have to cleanse your palate to love it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Sophistication with those greens. That's what I told Seth. I was like, you're getting all those nutrients and your body's just going to love you in a couple of weeks if you just stay consistent with it.
I have some greens, but they come in little packets, and they don't taste like
the spirulina.
No.
Which I know is so good for you and the heavy metal detox and everything, but it's just like if I were to drink out of a fish tank.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
That lagoon on the other side of town.
That constantly stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a Moberly folklore. The city says that it's not an active one, but it still stinks every day. You drive by it, and then some days you can smell it within
I got some
a couple
411 on that
radius.
for you after we wrap the episode.
What'd you say?
I said I got some 411 on that for you after we wrap the episode.
Ooh, the hot tea.
Tea.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the FLDS cult. This cult has been something that has just been so fascinating to me since I've been in high school. Have you ever heard of the FLDS cult?
I have. Is this the same as Under the Banner of God?
I think that it might be kind of loosely based on it.
Okay.
So I feel like you have so many of
those... Is FLDS Mormon?
I'll get into that.
Okay.
But
they're a division of or whatever.
Yeah. But there are so many of those because you have FLDS.
LDS.
The Origin. LDS? I think so. Yeah. Well, LDS and FLDS are two different.
Yeah, they're just different. Yeah, I'm not going to claim to be educated. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to get into all of that.
Educate me.
Yes. Okay. So, the Fundamentalist, wow, that word did not happen, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a sect that sprouted off from the mainstream Mormon church. It's gained its notoriety for its controversial practices, including polygamy and child marriage. This group has faced legal challenges with its leader, Warren Jeffs, being convicted of charges related to sexual assault and abuse. The FLDS has been widely criticized for its authoritarian structure and the exploitation of its members, particularly women and children. Basically, if you have a uterus, you're screwed in this.
Yeah. Cult. Which happens in a lot of religions.
Absolutely.
I was actually thinking about that as I was getting dressed this morning.
Why?
I don't know why. It just crossed my mind. I thought, for the longest time, women were treated, and still sometimes to this day, like a whole. We're just a whole. And we have no mind, and we have no, Mm-hmm. And then I thought, but we give life.
Yeah. I mean, we really are. Mm-hmm. Men produce the sperm, but we're the ones that grow and nurture a whole ass body.
Yeah. With fingernails and hair.
Mm-hmm.
And eyeballs and eyelashes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Nope, you're okay.
Keep going.
FLDS is a part of the Latter-day Saint movement started by Joseph Smith in 1830. Joseph Smith is known as the first prophet of the more well-known Mormon/LDS church. All Latter-day Saint movements can trace their history back to this man. The FLDS are not considered Mormon. Did you know that people who are members of the LDS Church do not like to be called Mormon?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. A common misconception is that the name Mormon is only given to those of the LDS Church. This, however, is incorrect. The name Mormon is a commonly used nickname directed towards those who followed Brigham Young. You know, from Brigham Young University. It's like a huge school in Salt Lake City, I think. Mm-hmm. Which they have their own, like, wild stories on TikTok.
I was going to say, do you know much about Mr. Smith?
So, actually...
And how he...
Like, apparently he's a terrible person.
Supposedly he he saw a prophet.
Yes.
That told him to create, this is a religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then he followed a light, loosely light,
mm-hmm. that
led him to Salt Lake City. And there's a lot of, like, alien talk behind that, like, did an extraterrestrial tell... Yes, did an extraterrestrial tell him to move there? Did he follow a UFO? Kind of that.
Right.
That whole, like, that rabbit hole.
So those followed Brigham Young and a handful of people who claimed to be next in line for the prophet after Joseph Smith's death. This means that any Latter-day Saint movement can trace their apostoliptical. I almost said apocalyptic. Lineage back to Joseph Smith via Brigham Young are classed as being Mormon. But so there are some churches that are like the Latter-day Saint churches that they're, I don't know if it's pastor or preacher, whoever the head honcho is of the church, they basically determine what you are to be referred as. So, like, Mormon is like a slang term for that religion, apparently.
How confusing.
It's very confusing.
Religion is confusing.
Yeah. Well, especially whenever you get down into these that are, like, sectors based off of, or, like, sprung off of other.
Well, because it started out as one, mm-hmm. and then you had a group of people that were like, oh, let's add this to our religion. And then there was a whole nother group that was like, no, that's not right. We're not doing that. And they split.
Yep.
That's why here you've got so many churches in
and
this
they all
town.
Have their different values.
So many churches. It's because this group got mad at this group and they split, and then they started a whole nother church. So it's basically the same thing except for maybe these couple of different things. That's it.
Humans got involved and we always mess it up, man.
Yeah.
The FLD cult traces its origins to the mid-20th century when some of the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints disagreed with the church's decision to nix the practice of polygamy in the late 19th century. Those who objected, often referred to as fundamentalists or fundies, believed in maintaining the original teachings, including plural marriage. The group that eventually became the FLDS, formally organized in the 1930s under the leaders like John Y. Barlow and Joseph W. Musser. Over time, leadership passed to others, including Rulon Jeffs and later his son Warren Jeffs. The FLDS community established itself in various locations, notably on the Arizona-Utah border, where they built isolated compounds to practice their beliefs. The FLDS has been marked by a strict hierarchy with a single leader who holds considerable authority over the followers. The FLDS is the largest fundamentalist group of the Latter-day Saint movement. To be classed as a fundamentalist group, the group has to actively be and practice one of the fundamental aspects of Mormonism as taught by the first two prophets, Brigham Young and Joseph Smith. The FLDS still believe and practice in a number of these fundamental aspects, such as plural marriage and something that is called the United Order, which there is a branch that is a part of the Latter-day Saints called the Order, that is in like another large polygamy practicing group.
I just want to beat my head on this microphone. Why are there so many?
I wish I understood.
I need a flow chart.
It's really confusing, and the more that I was looking up all of this, there are just so many other cults that practice polygamy, but like, it's not a consensual polygamy. It's like you get born into it and then
you're forced.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Well, I guess that's the way FLDS is too. So
yes. In 1984, after the death of the third prophet, Leroy S. Johnson, a small group of FLDS members broke away from their church and became known as the Centennial Park Group, who took up residence in Centennial Park, Arizona. They called themselves The Work, and they broke away from the FLDS over their doctrine of the one-man rule, that only one man on earth may hold all of the priesthood keys and power of God. So they did not like the fact that Warren Jeffs was the number one prophet that's alive at this time. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted more men to be of power. So they broke off and they've created their own like commune area. Basically, it's like a town that they kind of rule.
Can we do the same thing but make it women?
Honestly. The current prophet of FLDS is Warren Jeffs, and he was placed on the top 10 most wanted on the FBI list after he fled his charges relating to child marriage. He is currently serving a life sentence plus 20 years in prison for charges relating to bigamy and child marriage. So Warren Jeffs, he was honestly a sick man. And his dad. So, I mean, it's very much a learned behavior, I guess. So his dad was
maybe,
like 80,
possibly.
And his dad was marrying like 12-year-olds.
Yeah. See, I mean, I do want to... I'm going to tread lightly. I do want to think that it is partly learned traits.
Right.
But I also think that internally, you know right from wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
To a degree.
Like, I also think that...
So now you're just making an excuse. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Due to the church's beliefs regarding plural marriage and the requirements required to enter the top kingdom of glory in heaven, where God himself lives, the prophet Warren Jeffs has 84 wives. Most of these wives are not of age. This is not a consensual practice. For Warren, the goal was to have as many wives and children as possible, even if that meant marrying literal children.
So these aren't legal, though, right? They're not. Like,
I mean,
if they ran away, they could get married to somebody else.
Okay, so...
Because legally, you can't really marry that many people.
Like, so in this religion, they hold the spiritual marriage at a higher level than a
legal
marriage.
Yeah, but like if somebody left the compound.
Yeah, they could technically go get legally married, okay, but spiritually, there's all of these rules that you have to get divorced by the church. Or else, like, God will not accept it.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, okay. Since the arrest of the prophet in 2009, a new doctrine was formed. This is the practice that states that only men who are able to father children are a group of 15 men, or seed bearers, as they are known as. A seed bearer man is a man who comes from a worthy bloodline chosen by their leaders. So they've kind of eliminated the Warren Jeffs being the one that is the father to all of these children, and now they've kind of picked a hierarchy of like men that are going to be the ones that carry on their seed.
I mean, when you're born into that religion, I'm sure that that's normal to you. But from somebody on the outside like myself, I'd be goddamned if you think that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, this. I guess it's another thing to point out is that they don't have technology how we have technology.
Yeah.
So they don't know. You know. Due to their practice of plural marriage, a big problem for them has arisen in the past couple of decades where the ratio between the FLDS men and women has remained the same. As the men must marry multiple women to make it into heaven, there are not enough women to fulfill this idea. This issue has led to a large number of young boys and men being abandoned for breaking rules. Once they have been removed from the church and its communities, they are no longer allowed to maintain contact with any friends or family members within the church.
I feel like I knew that.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
The ratio of men to women intermarriage is a common practice among the FLDS members, often marrying their first or second cousins. This has had a dramatic effect on many of the members' lives, and as such, their communities are ramped with a condition known as phumaracy deficiency. These conditions cause severe mental issues and other problems that affect the nervous system. Outside of the FLDS ranches, this is a very rare condition. There's only 13 cases worldwide up to 1990. After 1990, 20 cases were discovered within one of the FLDS communities based in Arizona. So, that's awful.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, the membership of FLDS was estimated to be around 10,000 people, with between 5 and 1,000 members leaving between 2013 and 2015. So I think with the rise of technology and people being able to say, hey, like, there's so much better out there, I think that's helping their numbers dwindle down. And with Warren Jeffs being gone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have all that whole structure being redone and everything that you've ever learned is completely different now.
Turned upside down.
Yeah. The majority of FLDS members live in a handful of ranches in America: Short Creek in Arizona, Hilldale and Colorado and Utah, and El Dorado, Texas. There's also a large colony in Bountiful in British Columbia, Canada.
Interesting.
Women within the church are often notifiable by their pastel-covered clothing that fully covers their legs, arms, body, and shoulders. The idea is to remove any personal traits and to mimic the FLDS's idea of what a perfect woman should look like. The different pastel dresses...
This is where I went wrong, obviously.
Yep. Show which women are married to which husband. The color red and black are forbidden to be worn amongst the members. The reasoning behind this is that when Jesus returns, he will be the one to wear red, and black is to be believed the color of Satan. So, I mean, I wear black basically every single day of my life.
Well, fuck us.
Yeah. Female members also, well, I guess all members have to wear the holy garments that were basically a white bodysuit. The females' bodysuits have a slit in the
how convenient
area.
Thanks for that, guys.
24-hour
Thank
access.
you for, yeah, thank you. So considerate.
Honestly. And those garments also have to be worn during intimacy. So.
I mean, that's awesome.
The current and future leadership of the FLDS is currently unknown. The next in succession to Warren Jeffs was a man called Lyle Jeffs, who was Warren's brother. However, it had been reported that in 2012, Warren removed Lyle from the office. The church has two leadership roles, the president and the prophet. The president is not required to be the prophet, although traditionally this is normally the case. On December 4th, 2010, after his arrest, Warren Jeffs officially resigned as the president of the FLDS Church. His status as the prophet is currently unknown. From what I've heard and read, Warren Jeffs still makes the decisions and
from prison.
Handles all that from prison. He gets calls all the time, has all the money, decides who's wealthy, who's not. So I've watched multiple videos about this cult, and they interview people that have escaped the cult. A common theme is that unless you have a brother who escapes, most women end up staying. Just because the men are usually the first to get out, and so it's easier to follow a man out than for women to just join up.
Do it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need a support system.
Absolutely, and they'll be able to help because the men
you don't
want
to feel like you're alone.
Well, and the men are allowed to have skills, where women are just homemakers, basically, or bodies to grow babies. Most of the women who leave often miss the community or having the sister wives, which... I mean, can you imagine, though, because you're forced to have all of these sister wives that are basically like your circle of people that
I mean, I guess.
help you raise your children.
In my head, I'm thinking about you boning my husband, and I was not taught to share very well. And I don't like to share my shit.
They're taught to they're taught to share forever because
I don't like that.
They're born into it.
I don't like it.
I mean, I agreed. You couldn't.
It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
If a wife is planning on leaving and she's outed for that, the cult will kidnap the children and relocate them to a different colony in another state.
That would be the one. Like, as a parent, that would be what holds me there.
Absolutely.
Is my kids.
Yeah. There was a woman who her son was taken away for 5 years, and she stayed till she got him back. And by the time, I think, whenever she got him back, he was 18, so he was able to make the decision to stay. And so they have no contact.
That has to suck.
Mm-hmm. In the heavily populated areas where members are located, the men often work for local law enforcement to help scoot under the radar.
That's
so
not
it's just
shocking.
like 24-hour corruption.
Yeah.
The children were also not allowed to have toys. They were raised to work. And, like have your own gender roles.
Nice.
Yeah. Most members live in poverty. The money that is made is forced to be tithed. At a really high rate. More than the standard, 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So it just keeps them broke, and they are working for the cause.
Yeah.
There are only a select few members who are allowed to live the lavish lifestyles, and those are the ones that are part of the hierarchy.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It is very sad.
And the fact that it's just... I can understand the small cults because, you can get a group of like 20 people to believe your purpose. But whenever it's something that you're consistently born into and in order to leave, you have to leave your family, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just kind of beaten down and told this is how it is.
Yep. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't understand a cult because I, myself, given the right person's talking to me, I can easily be convinced, like, oh, yes, I will go live on your commune and eat chicken and salads for the rest of my life. But, no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. But I'm very easily convinced, I think.
Oh, me too. Like,
sort
with
of.
any conspiracy theory, if you can give me enough...
Oh, yeah.
Enough, not even evidence, but enough coincidences.
Or doubt in your mind, and you're like, that's a good, valid point. Never thought about that. Yeah, easily but then also you have things like this happen where I'm like, fuck no, man.
This is why my mom thinks that I am a extreme right-wing conservative, because I'll be like fixated on these, and I'm like, did you see this? And she's like, Lauren, no. And I'm like,
You are, but it's because your mind is an extreme thinker.
Oh, absolutely.
When you believe in something, you believe in something to the death of it. Yeah, there's no wavering your mind.
No. Until
6 months later, when that thing like fails or whatever, or you find out something else, and then you're like, yeah, I don't believe that anymore. And I'm like, I fucking told you, Lauren. I told you, just like the dry shampoo. You remember that? You were like, I'm never using Bautista again.
Yeah, well,
and here you are.
I got burnt down to the point where I was like, yep, I guess those carcinogens are going to be what it is.
Yep. But you were so extreme on it.
Really
but that's just the way your brain's wired.
I know. I get that way.
It happens.
I hate it about myself.
It's okay.
I
try to play the devil's advocate.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes it pisses me off.
I know it does.
I'm like,
I could tell.
I don't want to.
I could tell in your voice, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to back off.
Sometimes I just need the comfort, because Seth is also the
extremist.
No, he's also the person that's like, yeah, you don't need to be upset about this, and I'm like, but I'm mad.
Oh yeah, when you used to post shit on Facebook about politics all the time, I'd be like, look, you would show me something and you'd be like, I'm going to comment on this. I'm like, but why? It's not getting you anywhere. You're not gaining any ground.
I know.
Just let it go. No, I've got to post about it. And I know Seth was on the other side like, Lorraine.
Literally.
Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Put it in your sock drawer.
I have deleted everything political off of my Facebook.
Yep, because all it does is it just raises that heart rate.
Well, and then eventually I have changed. So
that has been years ago.
Yeah, it's been years ago.
It has been years ago. So I wanted to share that I created a TikTok.
Oh yeah, you did.
A TikToky account for Whispers in the Basement. In the basement. Yeah. And I don't know if it was that or the boosted post that I put on Instagram, but we gained a lot of followers over the weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, so super thankful for that. A couple of them actually have their own podcasts.
Oh, nice.
And so I subscribed to them. I can give you the names.
Oh, yeah, please do.
I'll try to write them down and then drop them in the next episode. But one gentleman I've been talking to back and forth about an episode that I wanted to do later on, and he sent me pictures because they kind of covered the same thing, and so it's just been really cool talking to people that are freshly getting started, kind of like us.
Yeah.
And just being supportive of each other. So,
dang, that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I get really excited when I look at my phone and it's like, you've gained a new follower. And then I'm like, what?
Right.
Because for the longest time, my kids made fun of me that I followed more people than what followed us.
I don't feel like that's embarrassing, but maybe to whatever generation they are.
Gage was like, Mom, you're following 74 people and only 34 are following you.
I cannot imagine. I can't imagine only following 34 people.
Listen, I'm like trying here. So
absolutely, yeah, you're putting yourself out there, getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Ashley's running all of our social media, and not me, because I don't have the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's me that you get when you get a response. We also have an email address, and I did tell one of the guys had commented or sent me a message and was like, "Yeah, I'm on episode 3. You guys have a really good chemistry. I'm loving it." And I told him, I said, if you have something that you want covered, definitely let me know. We have an email address. It's whispers_in_the_basement at outlook.com. So if you have any like creepy conspiracy, pop culture-y, weird stuff that you want covered at some point, drop us some, suggestions and we'll dive into them at some point. So, or you could just email us and tell us we're really awesome.
Or you could leave comments.
Yeah, you could comment on our YouTube or our Instagram or our TikTok. Yeah, follow us on Spotify. But yeah, just whatever, interact. I like interacting with people. I think it's fun.
Yes.
So, awesome. Well, I have the next one. I think I know what I might possibly cover. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I got a couple of things rolling around in my head, so.
Cool. Can't wait.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Are you going to tell everybody how you hurt yourself this week?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so to finish this out, I guess, I have an extremely funny story. Not that any of you give a shit, but I'm just going to tell you anyways. I almost broke something this weekend on my body. So I was like, I had these feet booty wrap mask things on, and and you can walk in them if you put your socks on the outside, which I did that, and I was getting ready to go down the basement stairs to put a load of laundry in, and happened to step on the stair incorrectly, which resulted in me literally going from almost top of the staircase to the bottom of the staircase, and I smashed my elbow so hard. I'm lucky I didn't break it. Landed on my tailbone. I've jammed 2 fingers. I did something to one of my toes. And when I landed, my husband was behind me and it was just dead silent. And then he goes,
checking to see if she was alive. Still,
yeah.
Honestly.
He said, "Are you okay?" And the only thing I could do at that point was laugh. It was either laugh or cry.
Absolutely.
And I just started laughing and I was like, I'm not really sure, but I'm almost 100% positive that from the front side, the look on my face was probably iconic as I was like,
oh, I'm sure,
about to die going down the stairs. Yeah. And then I told him, I said, if I had broken something and we went to the emergency room, I don't think anybody would have believed that I fell down the stairs.
Trying to moisturize your feet.
Try again, back to the hydration and the moisturizing. I was trying to get a jump start on it and it fucked my life up that night. So really my body's very sore right now, but I'm here.
And you're thriving.
And we're thriving.
It's almost Christmas.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up today's episode. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and Podbean.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you can get an alert every time an episode drops.
We'll see you next week, but in the meantime,
stay strange, my friends.